What is driving us actually came from a conversation that I had with one of our former councilmen. His name is Ralph Voorhees, and his family has been in this area since colonial times. Ralph said to me that every time he crosses the bridge into Highland Park, he sees that apartment building to his left, and he feels sick that they let that happen when he was on council. He said to me, you have to think of your legacy, and you have to have a long-term vision for your community. And as he was speaking to me about this, it was also the same time that, as like with every other mayor, you're looking for ratables. And there are some projects on the table where, it's sort of turning your stomach. I likened it to feeling like a prostitute. You sell your body to feed your children. It's the same sort of thing. You sell off property to feed the ratable chase. And I didn't want to have to do that. So what we did was we took a step back and we called for a meeting at the state, at the Department of Community Affairs, and they brought in Department of Transportation, the Board of Public Utilities, the DEP, every agency we could think of. And the commissioner said, you need to have an agenda. And so what we did was that night I wrote what the agenda was. It turned out to be our plan for the future, and it's called Highland Park 2020. With in mind what Ralph had said to me, that you have a legacy and you need to think long term. You don't just want to be part of this ratable chase, but you have to be a community where people can afford to live. What came out of that was Highland Park 2020, and it's about being a sustainable community. But when we talk about sustainability, it's not just what you think of, which is probably environmental sustainability. We talk about, first of all, economic sustainability. We need to be a community that's not running to Trenton and begging for money every year. We need to be sustainable. We need to be a community that is economically sustainable, where businesses can afford to do business, where people can afford to live. And that's our economic sustainability. The second part of it is our environmental sustainability. We thought, if we're looking at the long term, and if we want to really do something aggressive and cutting edge, what we need to do is tie to our economic sustainability, environmental sustainability. So as we redevelop our downtown, we're talking about doing this green. So everything that would happen downtown would either be LEED certified, or we can talk some more about that a little bit later. But the idea here is you can be really smart, you can be forward thinking, and you can do it green. The third part of it is social sustainability. And with that, what we did was take a look at the word sustainable. And the root of it is sustenance. And that is to be a community that gives sustenance to the people who live there. And that's really the social component. Here we're talking about being ADA compliant so that we're not only accessible in other ways, but physically accessible. But it talks about issues that have to do with race and diversity and walking and health and history, and everything else comes together in this. We realized once we wrote Highland Park 2020 that it was everything that a municipality does, really. But it's doing it the right way in a forward-thinking